ஒரு சைடுல பாத்துக்கலாம். சொல்றீங்களா சார்? கொஞ்சம் போடு சார், கூட்டுப்பா கணக்கான போடுப்பா. His Excellency Dr. Chennareddy, Honorable Justice Mohan, Dr. M. Gopalakrishnan, Shri V. Karthikeyan, Shri S. V. Narasimhan, Shri V. Jayaraman, Shri C. S. B. Raghavan, secretaries and other office bearers of the district and local centers of St. John Ambulance Association, office bearers and members of St. John Ambulance Brigade, and well wishes. It gives me immense pleasure in inviting you for the 80th anniversary celebrations and inauguration of the new building of St. John Ambulance Association. In the history of St. John movement in Tamil Nadu, today is a day to be remembered and written in golden letters. The former President of India, who was to have presided over today's function, though his heart is here, as unfortunately we are not able to make it from Delhi, and in his absence, Honorable Justice Mohan to take over the chair. The present governor and a distinguished jurist and other dignitaries on the dais, and illustrious and dignity to today's function. Ever since Dr. Chennai Reddy assumed office as the governor of this state, and in that capacity as the president of St. John Ambulance Association, he took such a keen and active interest in all its affairs and activities. He is a source of great inspiration and strength to us. His sagacity, administrative ability, and above all, inspiring leadership qualities have been chiefly responsible for the vast development of the activities of this association. What was 40 or 50 local centers and district centers, it has now come to be more than 80 centers. His Excellency was very keen that apart from giving training in first aid to drivers and conductors, the association must activate the district and local centers to train as many students as possible in first aid. And I am glad to inform you, sir, that a large number of students are being trained in first aid in these recent years. If the government could issue an order directing that students at the higher secondary level should compulsorily undergo training in first aid, it would help not only those students but also the society at large. St. John Ambulance Association on its part assured that the students will be charged a very nominal or minimal fee for giving training in first aid. His Excellency the Governor, a man of great eminence, with vast experience not only in the political arena, has earned reputation as the people's governor. Sir, we welcome you wholeheartedly. Honorable Justice Mohan was part of this association for over a decade, and it was during his period St. John Ambulance Association was put on a firm pedestal in Tamil Nadu. He and his team of able office bearers were always a source of inspiration and direction to the local and district centers. You are a great jurist, sir, an orator both in English and Tamil, a great judge not only of cases but also of men and matters. Some people have forgotten the moment they retire from service. But you, sir, have become more popular and more busy after retirement. This is due to your personal charisma, as well as the compassion and kindness which you show to others. We are indeed proud to have you with us today, sir. Mr. M. Gopalakrishnan, the most popular person by our accounts, is a person with a golden heart and a silver tongue. His munificence, generosity and sympathy for good causes, good and noble causes, is very well known. When the office bearers of this association had a plan for putting up a new building, and when they found that they did not have enough funds, their unanimous opinion was to approach the Indian Bank, headed by its managing director and chairman, Mr. M. Gopalakrishnan. We had the money and we had the inclination. Mr. Chichari and Son Architects, N.T. Patel and Company civil contractors were selected to design and put up the construction. The result is what you see before you, a new, elegant and imposing building. Mr. M. Gopalakrishnan, we thank you, sir, for all the help you have rendered, and we welcome you wholeheartedly. Shri V. Karthikeyan is like a brother to me, and we have sister concerns. It is kind of you, Madam Sarojini Vardhapan, to have agreed to have come over today to be with us in the function. During the period when this building was under construction, it is Mr. Karthikeyan who had permitted us to occupy a portion of the building belonging to the Indian Red Cross Society. It is said that nowadays it is very difficult to find men of integrity, ability and sincerity. But one exception is our great philanthropist and Karingeriya Ceremony through S.V. Narasimhan. In spite of his busy schedule, he agreed to be the chairman of the building committee. I could see at first hand, during the period when he was the chairman of the building committee, why he had succeeded so greatly in life. The meticulous and careful manner in which he guided the construction of the building, tided over small difficulties here and there, and kept up the tight schedule for completion of the building speak volumes. Sir, but for you, the new building would have remained as a dream, and it is our earnest desire that you should continue to evince interest in the St. John Ambulance movement for years to come. Mr. V. Jayaraman, the Honorary Treasurer, controlled the financial matters so ably and efficiently. This imposing building of more than 10,000 square feet had been constructed within the planned cost of construction in spite of inflation all over. And the credit goes to Mr. V. Jayaraman. To C.S. Veeraraghavan, the live wire behind the St. John Ambulance movement, has devoted his life to public causes and social work. It is almost impossible to find another person of his qualities of head and heart. His honesty and integrity while handling public funds is an example to be emulated by others. The merit of such a person like Sri C.S. Veeraraghavan should be recognized by the government. I have no doubt that sooner or later awards and titles would come in his way, come to him. Before concluding, I once again welcome all of you, especially office bearers and executive committee members of St. John Ambulance Association, the secretaries and other office bearers of the district and local centers, the press, well-wishers and others. Thank you.
I request our Vice Chairman S.P. Narasimhan to present shower to the Honorable Justice S. Mohan. I request E. Jayaraman to present shower to Mr. V. Karthikeyan. I have great pleasure in presenting shower to Mr. Gopalakrishnan. Reading of messages by E. Jayaraman, Honorary Treasurer.
Good evening, everybody. With the permission of the President of this association and the President of this evening, I proceed to read the messages. The first and foremost message is from the President of this association in his capacity as the Governor of Tamil Nadu. I am glad to know that St. John's Ambulance Association Tamil Nadu State Centre is completing 80 years of useful service to the public, and to commemorate the occasion, a souvenir is being brought up. The burgeoning explosion in human and vehicle population and the complexities of modern life have made the society accident-prone on roads, in factories and in other workplaces. Naturally, first aid becomes the most valuable and effective tool in the golden hour of an accident victim. First aid given by a trained expert at this moment will go a long way in reducing the trauma that has to be undergone by a victim. St. John's Ambulance Association, with branches all over the country, has been rendering yeoman service in giving expert training in first aid, and the certificates issued by it have become the symbols of excellence in first aid. The association during the last 8 years has also served the injured soldiers and civilians during wars, and also the accident victims by giving expert first aid to them. My best wishes to the St. John's in all its endeavors. Dr. M. Chennareddy. The message from the Governor of Jammu and Kashmir, Dr. K.B. Krishna Rao. In the rapidly changing socio-economic environment of ours, which is also marked by an ever-increasing complexity, the levels and pace of all types of economic activity has increased tremendously. This, coupled with the lack of adequate care on the part of some people, has led to an increasing rate of accidents, causing death and serious injuries to a large number of people. Provision of first aid to the unfortunate victims of accidents and the training of personnel working in various establishments in first aid and allied subjects is indeed a very laudable service to society. That the St. John's Ambulance Association has completed 80 years of its service should not only be a matter of pride for the association, but it should also serve as an outstanding example of selfless service and dedication to others in the society. I wish the management and the staff of St. John's Ambulance Association all success in their notable endeavors. A message from the Agricultural Minister of India, Balram Jakar. I am happy to learn that St. John's Ambulance Association, Tamil Nadu State, is celebrating completion of its 80 years of useful service to the public. I appreciate the valuable service being rendered by it, particularly by way of imparting to
The Governor, sir, Dr. Justice Mohan, Mr. Karthikeyan, Mr. Gopalakrishnan, our chairman, Honorable Justice Ramalingam, distinguished invitees, and the representatives from the various centers of the state. At the outset, I wish to gratefully acknowledge the very kind words spoken by our Justice Sri Ramalingam. The chariot is now drawn by one man. There are whole scores of people to give it a pushing hand, and it is the right moment for me to acknowledge that if this building, this good edifice, has taken this wonderful shape in less than 14 months of laying the foundation stone by His Excellency the Governor, I have been receiving countless assistance and help from my committee, and particularly the Governor and Justice Ramalingam. Thank you, sir, indeed, for your cooperation. A few biodata about the building. I think it is remarkable that a building of this stature of 5 stories, of about 10,000 square feet, could still be completed and constructed wonderfully in less than 14 months' time. For this, primarily, we are grateful to the leading architects of the city, Messrs. Chidale and Son, who have been behind this project to see to it it was on schedule. More than that, I must acknowledge on behalf of the association that Ms. Chidale has been very kind to accept a very, very nominal figure against the usual service charges. I am grateful to you, Mr. S.L. Chidale, who is now in London, and ably represented here by his son, Mr. Kapil Chidale. Not to speak of N.T. Patel and Company, they have stuck to the schedule almost nearly, a little here and there that always take place. All the same, we have not been far beyond the margin of the anticipated schedule. I thank Mrs. Patel and Company for the cooperation. There are various agencies who have helped us, whom I will not go into the various details, save and except I say I'm grateful to the Otis Elevator Company for having given us this wonderful elevator, electronically operated, which we had arrived very recently. Now a few words about the financial status of the building. This whole building was purchased by us nearly 60 years ago, in the same place where we paid at that time less than a lakh of rupees. Today, with the land appreciating in its value remarkably, and the cost of the construction taken into account, we are worth a little over 1.6 crores of rupees, sir. As to the construction, it cost us around 66 lakhs of rupees. A major part of it has been funded from our own deposits, but I must acknowledge here, as already referred to by our Justice, Mr. Gopalakrishnan's assistance. It will not be out of the place to mention here how important, how known Mr. Gopalakrishnan to every household is. My little grandson the other day comes to me and tells me that his school is going to have some program. They want some sponsors. Why not ask Mr. Gopalakrishnan? It's a fact, sir. It's no exaggeration. You have really got into the heart of every householder, every tradesman, every business house, not merely by the fund of the Indian Bank, by your kindness, affection, and silver tongue delivery. We are grateful to you indeed for the very assistance. 30 lakhs of rupees has been given by the Indian Bank to be repaid in 10 years' time, and they have also been good enough to take a little over 6,000 square feet of this building. Now, the rent which we expect to collect from the Indian Bank, and together with 1 crore which we have let out, I think it will give us a sufficient funds to repay the loan in less than 10 years, sir. A lot of assistance has been received from the various centers by way of advertisements, and there have been quite a few philanthropists who came generously to give us money to speak, like Dr. Kutswami Shetty, Kappa Charities, the MVM Arunachalam unit, and many others. They have been very kind enough to give us donations, which made it easy for us not to touch our own funds from our fixed deposits. As Justice Mohan entered the building, I told the Honorable Justice, your baby is back to your lap because you dreamt it when you were the chairman. Many people dream, but the dream remains a dream. But when people dream with sincerity, clothed with affection of the category after Justice Mohan, the dream does take a shape, and it has taken a shape this evening. More than that, it gives us immense pleasure that for the foundation laying stone ceremony, Justice Mohan was here from Delhi, and how pleased we are to have you, sir, today to preside over this function. Now, every good thing has a hurdle too in it. You never have the smooth passage as you would like to have. We are an organization, non-profit making. The government of India has given us income tax exemption. And as we were proceeding with the construction of the building, we had a small place occupied by a person for many years. And as is common with the present day, they won't vacate. So we had to appeal to the Tamil Nadu government to exempt the St. John Ambulance Association from the purview of the Rent Control Act. And we are grateful to the state government to have so quickly relieved, and they have removed the operation of the Act for the St. John Ambulance Association. Be that as it may, now our case is still continuing in the court, and I hope our sincere appeal to the judiciary will be heard in that we get justice and that we are able to operate the building with a smoothness for the purpose for which it is built. In the sense that blockade of the small unit in the gate will not allow the ambulance to take a quick turn around the building in the event of an emergency. We are therefore obliged to park the ambulance in the wrong direction. So when an emergency call comes, we may not be able to get onto the speed which our heart would like. So therefore, I think this is appropriate, clear forum. I make an appeal to the judiciary that they be so kind to hear and give us justice in order that the building is put to use quickly, adequately for the purpose it is built. We have a good tenant on the second floor, and the 4 floors put together, as I said already, will give us a substantial funds to repay the very kind loan which the Indian Bank gave. And more than that, as before I came over to the podium, Mr. V. Raghavan was mentioning that the number of centers he has raised to over 80 to synchronize with the 80th anniversary celebrations. And more than that, because of the collections from these various 80 centers, he expects to be able to save aside almost $1 lakh every month to be able to pay to the Indian Bank. Sir, I thank you for the attention. Once again, to all the dignitaries of the days, and as we inaugurate this building, we look forward to your continued kind cooperation for the success of St. John Ambulance Association in this state. Thank you for your attention.
The Governor of Tamil Nadu, the President of the St. John's Ambulance Association, Tamil Nadu State, the President of the evening, Honorable Justice Mohan, Honorable Justice Ramalingam, Shri S.V. Narasimhan, Shri C.S. Veeraraghavan, Shri Jairam, distinguished guests. I deem it a great privilege to be given the opportunity of participating in this very auspicious function of St. John's Ambulance Association's dream coming true. But one cannot say that it would have been far from the reality, because on the days you see leaders who have been fired by public spirit. Right from his young days, the Governor of Tamil Nadu has himself been a champion for the cause of society. We have another well-meaning, public-spirited Justice Dr. Justice Mohan, who has always been a great friend of society in trying to help people. Similarly, Shri Ramalingam, Shri Narasimhan, all of them have been of immense value to the association. The relevance of an organization like St. John's Ambulance Association today, as has been read in messages, is becoming more and more important. 80 years back, when we started, we probably had different problems. People were not that apathetic to render service to the neighbor, but they had problems of information, training, communication and guidance. Today's problems are different. As we have been growing, as our population has grown, and as we have grown materially, we find that taking care of the neighbor and having a public outlook is slowly getting drifted. It is in this context the use of St. John's ambulance in trying to train nurses, first aid students, and probably training to the drivers and conductors are very necessary. The importance and value of St. John's Ambulance Association is that it is an organization with a proper structure, with well-defined hierarchical and functional delegation of powers. It has the president and the governor of Tamil Nadu. So these organizations have a better role than those which would come and go by individual claims. And the very fact that His Excellency the Governor has taken so much interest and the others have been with him shows that society has always been able to get proper people as and when required. The Governor's intense interest in this project is well known to all the people in the St. John's Ambulance Association Executive, and I am sure that he will continue to guide, and I hope that this association today not only stops because you might be able to do some professional expertise, but that kind of dedication and public spirited approach is very necessary. But that is where I think St. John's Ambulance Association comes. In C.S. Veeraraghavan, you could see that he gets totally excited when trying to serve people. It's a very rare phenomenon today. Whatever might be the occasion, there's a large gathering, people are going to gather somewhere, he immediately gives gears to attend to that problem. That's the kind of people we require. And I must say that St. John's Ambulance Association has been very fortunate to get a person like C.S. Veeraraghavan. I'm sure that God Almighty will give him all the strength to serve this organization for long. I thank the organizers for having this opportunity and wish that this association renders more and more service to you. Thank you.
Justice S. Mohan, Justice Ramalingam, Sri S. V. Narasimhan, Sri C. S. Veeraraghavan, Sri Jayaraman, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Indian Red Cross and the St. John's Ambulance Association have been functioning for many years as twin units of a well-established public social service organization in this country. It's only after a few years that they separated and became independent organizations. Thanks to the excellent cooperation and interaction between these two organizations, particularly in Tamil Nadu, we have been able to build an enviable record of service here. And the St. John's Ambulance Association has now finished 80 years of very active and useful public service. It is the then Governor of Tamil Nadu, Mr. Vishnarayan Singh, who was also the head of the St. John's and the Red Cross, who suggested that we in the Red Cross should help the St. John's Ambulance Association temporarily to accommodate them in the premises of the Red Cross on Mount Jethro Mall during the period this construction is to go through. And with very great pleasure we accepted it, and they approved good tenants, and we are very happy that we gave them the accommodation and the facility